What up, guys? Billy Breeze coming at you. Thank you for watching. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I post every week tutorials, speed drawings, reviews, all this stuff. I'm an artist based out of Tampa, Florida, and we just like to have fun with art. In this one, I'm showing you guys the do's and don'ts of alcohol markers. The do's and don'ts. These are Ohuhu alcohol-based markers, bought freshly off of Amazon. You can get yours in the link in the description below. These are my absolute go-to alcohol marker, the best Copic alternative that there is, and in my opinion, the best bang for your buck. Ohuhu. Alcohol markers are really versatile and different than like your typical water-based marker. The ink is like malleable. You can move it around, you can blend. It can kind of give your picture that vibe like you printed it or digitally made it or something. That's how smooth these colors are. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do anything, right? In this video, I'm gonna show you what I think is the right way. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. Dislike it. I don't wanna show up on your feed either if you don't like me, so just do it. But all right, thank you guys. Let's go ahead and get into it. Bam. Oh yeah, before that, look at this monster living under my bed. Well then. All right, number one, if you want to work on your blending, don't over-focus on your outline. In my opinion, your sketch and making the outline proportional to your reference is the hardest part. So if you just want to focus on your blending technique, let's do this instead. Go with a coloring book. Now, you don't have to discourage yourself from the beginning. You just focus on what you want to do, which is learn how to blend, I recommend. Especially if you're first starting out. All right, number two, don't try to color in something right after you outline it. The ink has to dry or you're gonna find yourself with like a smudgy mess like this. And disregard coloring outside the lines. That wasn't part of the example. The outline's the most important part. You don't want to mess that up, so take your time. Like in this example, right after I made the circle, I went in with a yellow around the edges, and this happened. So, especially with the lighter pigmented colors like yellow, be careful around black and definitely wait till your outline ink dries before you actually try to color. I gave this one about 2 to 3 minutes, and then I went in with yellow and no problems. So, patience is key. Alright, number 3. You don't need 4 or 5 colors to give a face dimension. So, I'm only using 2 here actually. But don't choose 2 colors that are too far apart on the color spectrum to be blended. This isn't the best example because both shades that I'm using are sort of similar, but that second one is a little darker than I would go. Instead, do leave highlights on the face, like spots where, like risen spots, like the cheekbones and the nose, things like that that would be susceptible to highlight. Leave them uncolored. And do choose a second color that's a little bit darker, but will blend easily so you don't have to oversaturate and overwork it. Number 4, don't just go at it. You gotta take your time. You can't be distracted. It's important that you figure out what colors that you want to use beforehand and really hone in on that so you don't end up messing up. Because then once you do, you can't go back, you can't erase it. But, hey, you get back in here. We can fix this. Get in here, you mongoloid. Yeah, okay. So do take your time. Don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah, you can do this, okay? Yeah, alright. Do take your time picking out your colors, guys, and kind of sorting out the different shades. The cap on the marker is not always going to depict the most accurate, tone of that color. So you've set yourself up for success. You did your homework, you got your colors in order, you got all the right shades, and get you some puppy love. But overall, just take your time and enjoy the process, and yeah, it's all part of it. Tip number 5. If you want to get really proficient at blending and make your pictures pop, then I recommend staying away from alcohol markers like these. So this alcohol marker, I actually bought a set of these and I didn't even realize that this is actually just a chisel tip and a fine point, which honestly aren't the best tools for blending with alcohol markers. Typically I would use something like this if I was coloring something that was kind of tedious and very detailed. Sometimes the brush nip can be a little overwhelming to get into small little areas. If you don't really care about blending, I guess this is a fine option. The colors are still really pigmented. But if you're trying to give your pictures dimension and shape, I strongly recommend using something like this. This is an Ohuhu marker, link in the description. While this does have like a broad stroke chisel tip, this also has a brush stroke tip. That right there is what you want to be using, in my opinion, when you're using alcohol markers. So don't try to blend with this. Instead, try to blend with this. Alright, so again, choose an alcohol marker that has that brush tip. It kind of feels like a paintbrush, but you're using marker ink instead. And overall, you just get a lot smoother gradients and less like streakiness, in my opinion. So when you're going light to dark or dark to light, definitely consider using a brush tip versus like a chisel tip. So don't try to blend using the fine point or the chisel tip, because they both give really like harsh edges. So it's really hard to get those smooth transitions like you see here. The line is very clear there in the middle, and it's really hard to like blend it out. So do get you some brush tip markers. Alright, there we have it. 5 do's and don'ts when it comes to using alcohol markers. Of course, art is kind of subjective and there's no like blueprint on how to learn how to do this stuff. No, you really just have to do it yourself, mess up over and over and over and over again. There's a lot more do's and don'ts than just 5 though, I'll say. If you want me to make another video like this, comment down below. And also let me know what you struggle with in general when it comes to like markers or art, or what's something that you struggle with. Me, I struggle with comparing myself to other people and like, God, look at that. Look at this. So I'm just curious what you struggle with. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. So does my dog Benny and Marley. But until next time, peace.